your forecast first. Sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Good Tuesday morning, everyone. So the skies are still cloudy, but the rain, that's pretty much out of here. Not to say we don't see anything else for the remainder of the day, but I think only a straight chance of a shower or storm could be possible, and it looks like we won't have to worry about any severe weather, thankfully, as a lot of us will start to try to clean up as we go here into the morning and throughout the afternoon. As far as your current temperatures, those are sitting in the mid-60s. Danville at 66, same number in Decatur. We're at 67 in Mattoon and 65 in Bloomington, so this is a cool down from yesterday, and the heat will ease as we go throughout the day, too. So going to feel a bit more comfortable for us overall. A lot more clouds, highs just more into the lower 80s. We're going to talk about more isolated storm chances throughout the week, but we're going to go over what happened yesterday, too, here in a bit. WCIA 3 News starts now.
You're watching your local news leader. This is The Morning Show on WCIA 3 News.
It's sickening. It hurts. I mean, for the whole community, it's going to hurt them.
Well, this man watches as the church where he got married burns to the ground. Crews spent hours dousing the flames. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm McLeod Hageman.
And I'm Christy Batista. Lightning could be what caused this fire at that church in Bismarck. Firefighters got the call right in the middle of severe weather.
And when crews got to Walnut Corner Church in Bismarck, the entire building was in flames. The fire chief says he doesn't think it was started on purpose, but he thinks lightning could have ignited those flames. The building collapsed as crews continued to contain the fire. Nobody was physically hurt, but we did talk to people who have family history at the church, and they said it was an emotional experience to watch it burn. Stacy and David Nicholson were married at the church 20 years ago, and so were several of their family members.
2 years ago, this coming October, was the last wedding that took place in the church, and that was our oldest daughter, her Ashton, when her and her husband Scott got married there.
And the church did not have an active congregation, and nobody was inside when that fire started. Well, people are waking up to more damage this morning after strong winds ripped through central Illinois.
Ameren crews have been working overnight to get many customers' power turned back on, but people are still without it. WCIA 3's Karina Rubio joins us live from Champaign with a look at the aftermath. Good morning, Karina. What are you seeing out there?
Christy, good morning. Well, I can tell you that those winds from yesterday were strong enough to take out a big tree like this. You can see that it just snapped right in half here at the base. And yesterday, people were sharing photos of this tree blocking the road at the corner of McKinley and Maple. But it looks like they do have the top half cut off now, so it is clear. But stay with us this morning as we go around throughout Champaign County to show you more of the aftermath like this big tree right here. Reporting live, Karina Rubio, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
So, yeah, we had some storm damage yesterday. We saw a lot more of the damage late yesterday afternoon and into the evening. We had one that came through, though, earlier yesterday morning, and this one sent in by Brett was down in Charleston. You can see that big tree limb was also taken down and fallen on a tree there. So we're going to talk more about what happened later on into the day, later here into the show. But first, if you're getting out the door this morning, Roofing Doggone Weather Camera Network, looks to be much drier and no rain out there for you as you're going to be heading out. But we are going to deal with an air mass that's going to be a little cooler. Now, referring back there and speaking of yesterday, those storm reports, check out how many of them were. A lot of wind reports. You can see a lot of these are talking about some tree and limb damage, and you can see that the little icon with the home on it, that's where you have more of that tree and limb damage, and especially on top of some of the homes. And then you have this darker blue one that indicates a lot of the winds that were just reported at a very high mark. So we're going to go here to Urbana again. Tree down in a house yesterday that came in about 425 yesterday, and then we go over to Springfield, and we had power lines down at about 9th and Carpenter, and that was estimated with the radar wind about 60 to 70 miles per hour. And then you had this one over in Decatur, and that's a 12-inch limb down, and that was closer to about 410 yesterday. So a lot of storm reports came in, and that all came through with the system that is now well out of here, and things are quieting down now for us behind the front. As far as our temperatures right now, 65, and we're expecting things to be on the quieter side as we go throughout the day. It looks like time has run out for me, so we'll toss it back over to you, Christy.
Thanks, Adam. Well, let's get back to some of that damage. Adam mentioned it. Karina was talking about it. The gusts were strong enough to bring down trees like this one in Champaign. The homeowner there says she heard the snap and boom of the tree hitting her roof. This isn't the first time a tree has come down in her yard either. She says she also had to deal with this in the ice storm of 1990.
And I had a Chinese maple in the backyard there that came down on my house and pulled the power line from the main pole line. So yeah, I had visions of tree coming through my house because I knew it was the pine tree and it was much heavier than the Chinese elms.
She says she's thankful she only has minimal damage.
In Urbana, a couple whose home was also damaged say they knew the severe weather was on the way, but they said this was still a surprise. Take a look.
So we came outside to take a look and we saw the sky turn grey and the winds pick up. It got a little bit scary, so we went back inside, and then next thing that happened, there was this huge crash and the tree was through a window there.
And they say thankfully nobody was hurt. Well, like we've reported, gusting winds and heavy rain created a messy morning for people right here in central Illinois and other parts of the state.
Yes, statewide, there are nearly 500,000 outages from, that's just Ameren that is working on that. They're still reporting about 76,000 customers without power this morning. The northern part of the state and parts of southern Illinois are still experiencing several outages. Many people in our own newsroom woke up without power this morning as well. Ameren crews are requesting help from several neighboring agencies in other states to get people's power turned back on. At last check, Champaign County in particular is experiencing nearly 2,000 outages, but places like Sangamon County are fully powered back on.
And please stay with WCIA on air and online as we continue to track this progress that is moving forward this morning. Well, Champaign School Board has voted to approve the revised reopening plan that puts the entire district into remote learning for the first quarter.
Throughout the next week, the district will be distributing Chromebooks to make sure every student has access to one. Superintendent Susan Zola also broke down the ways that the district will make sure students have Wi-Fi access, ranging from spaces outside near select buildings to subsidized internet to a limited number of Verizon hotspots. Board members talked about the importance of making sure students who were left behind during the spring's remote learning format don't get lost this year.
I ask again, like I asked before, does the current framework or the model serve both children and adults? Or is it what's best for adults? I think I speak for the board, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that this board asks, demands, and requires that it be what's best for students.
I made the point the other day that somebody keeps saying, a few people keep saying, I'm glad I don't have a kid in school. You do. If you're a taxpayer, you have a kid in school. If you're a citizen, you have a kid in school.
The district is also setting up more resource centers and making sure if they notice students aren't signing on for their classes, they aren't immediately disciplined. But there's also a chain of educators who can reach out to them and their family to make sure they're doing okay.
And new this morning, Urbana parents are eagerly waiting for the school district's decision on their fall reopening plans. The Urbana School District will hold a special meeting to discuss that tonight at 6 o'clock. This is the first meeting since Superintendent Jennifer Ivory Tatum introduced those remote plans. Ivory Tatum will ask for a vote on the reopening measure. A mask policy will also be discussed. Well, the fall football schedule season is beginning to look pretty grim.
Yeah, coming up in sports, what Illini coaches and players are saying about that. We'll be right back.